I'm not really sure if I have a favourite episode of The X-Files, but there's one that always gets put on lists when I try to decide which episode I want to talk about next: Jose Chung's From Outer Space. The story unfolds through first and second-hand accounts of abductions and related events, leaving the audience to piece together their own conclusions. Naturally, it's known for its ambiguity, especially around the idea that truth is slippery when dealing with witness testimony, and what truth even means in the first place. So, beyond the plot itself, can we work out why this episode still sticks with viewers almost 30 years after it aired? Let's find out. Without further ado, on with the review.
Polos is life, 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 sleep all night and then Polos is life.
The episode opens with the shot of a guy standing on a crane that seems to be an homage to Star Wars. Two teenagers, Harold and Chrissy, are driving home from their first date, before being stopped by a UFO. They're approached by two grey aliens who knock them out before being confronted by a bigger, uglier alien, conveyed through B-movie style stop motion.
Jack, what is that thing?
How the hell should I know?
Following the opening credits, the titular author, Jose Chung, actually played by Broadway actor Charles Nelson Riley, visits Scully intending to learn about alien abductions. Remember, this is after Scully's own abduction in Season 2. Scully tells Jose that Chrissy was found the following morning suffering from missing time, no memory of the previous night. She showed signs of abuse, and her clothes were on inside out and backwards. However, Harold denies the idea that he had assaulted her. When Chrissy is interviewed by Mulder, he concludes that she has what he calls post-abduction syndrome, and convinces her parents to let her be hypnotized. In this state, Chrissy recalls her abduction and specifies that the aliens spoke to her telepathically, telling her it was for the good of Earth. Scully then interrupts with a silly tangent.
Well, thanks a lot. You really bleeped up this case.
Well, of course, he didn't actually say bleeped. He said...
I'm familiar with Detective Manners' colorful phraseology.
I appreciate the addition of these lines as they accurately capture how one might recount a story in a professional setting. It also helps with TV censors and all that. Harold is interviewed next, and we cut to a scene of him and Chrissy in cages while screams are heard in the background. A grey alien next to them simply smokes cigarettes, which feels pretty familiar if you know this show's lore. Anyways, Chrissy wakes up looking dumbfounded before their cage is opened, and she's taken away by an unseen assailant. The alien nearby tells Harold in English,
This is not happening. This is not happening.
Repeatedly. The assailant then comes for Harold. He admits that he and Chrissy did have sex, but that it was consensual.
So what if they had sex?
So we know that it wasn't an alien that probed her.
Well, that was an insane line. The man who was working on the crane, Rocky, shows up at the police station and confesses to witnessing the abduction. He tells a story about a random car pulling into his garage, where the occupants start banging on about Venus being mistaken for UFOs. These are basically Men in Black, and not the Will Smith kind. They speak verbosely and threaten to kill Rocky if he tells anyone about what he saw. He gives Mulder and Scully a manifesto he's written over the past 2 days, describing everything that he'd witnessed, and promises that they won't find him in the future.
Toward the Earth's molten core, for that is the domain of the third alien, whose name, he soon told me, was Lord Kinboat.
Yeah, something tells me that Rocky may have been the one on drugs that night. Even Mulder looks skeptical here. Apparently, Jose Chung also received a copy of this manifesto, complete in screenplay format. Interesting guy. Mulder says that despite the strange direction Rocky's account takes, the first part of the story verifies Harold's version. He then orders Chrissy to be rehypnotized. During this session, she confirms Harold's story but reveals she was already hypnotized by a team instructed by the Air Force.
All right. Rinse her out and give her the usual abduction rigmarole.
The story keeps getting crazier and crazier. Mulder and Scully then get alerted to a man who claimed to have found an alien body. I like how this interview segment is framed, as although it's clear that Scully is recounting what she was told, the shots frame it as though Jose is interviewing the man directly. We also get one of my favourite Mulder moments here.
I think he was an android. The only time he reacted was when he saw the dead body.
Jose tells Scully that in his own interview, the man claimed she threatened him, which outrages her. She points out that they even allowed him to view and film the autopsy. This is a clear parody of the infamous 1995 short film Alien Autopsy and the fact or fiction special that followed. Scully laments that all the important findings were removed from the autopsy footage, namely that the so-called alien was just a man in disguise. How disappointing! Our camera guy can't help but throw up. The body belongs to Air Force Major Robert Valley, part of a 2-officer team with a Lieutenant Schaefer. After Mulder distracts the Air Force officers searching for their missing colleagues, the camera guy is accosted by the men in black. He certainly doesn't take kindly to them taking his tapes.
You have no right to suppress them! Roswell!
Mulder then bitch slaps this guy awake. He's the one who makes the threat, before coming across Schaefer wandering down the road naked, dazed and confused. He then delivers the line,
This is not happening. It's not happening.
I think it's pretty clear what's gone on at this point. Essentially, the government have been hypnotizing people and faking abductions, only for the 2 officers on site and their 2 victims to be abducted for real. Sorry for Harold and Chrissy, but that sounds like karmic justice to me.
What about that third alien? What was that thing?
Who, Lord Kimbo?
You know, maybe there was some truth to Rocky's story after all. Jose then relays the story to Scully that he got from a cook at the diner, who is interviewed by Mulder while ordering piece after piece of sweet potato pie. Yeah, that sounds like Mulder alright. Apparently, this all took place at the same diner where Mulder interviewed Schaefer before the Air Force arrived, but the cook didn't describe the arrest at all. When Mulder gets back to the motel, he finds the men in black there, and they try to confuse him. One of them even looks like game show host Alex Trebek, who tries to hypnotize Mulder. Scully later says she has no memory of the encounter, and was surprised to find Mulder in her room the next morning. Mulder and Scully are called to the alleged cause of the UFO sightings, the site of an alleged experimental plane, where the military is seen carrying the body of Major Robert Valley away. As Jose Chung is writing his story sometime later, he is visited by Agent Mulder. Mulder tells him not to write the book for fear of making the people involved look foolish, but this is in vain. The episode ends with a narration by Jose Chung while we see the camera guy working on a crane, looking to the skies, Rocky preaching a new religion, and Scully reading Jose's new book, the cover of which parodies Communion by Whitley Strieber. So, what did I think of Jose Chung's From Outer Space overall? I thought it was pretty good, and I can see why it's a highly regarded episode. Let's start with the most notable part of it, the narrative structure. The episode sets up a clear trajectory where the truth might be that aliens are actually humans, and the couple's memories are confused. But there are several layers to this, and it's not clear where the abductions end and the government intervention begins. It's also not clear how many aliens are involved, or whether Kinboat is real for one. I'm not really sure whether Harold and Chrissy got abducted or not. They may have witnessed something and got confused, but it's clear that the military is hiding something at least. Shocker, I know. A noteworthy performance in this episode is that from Daniel Quinn, who played Jack Schaefer, one of the only definitely real abductees within the episode. This monologue is a really believable performance on how this kind of trauma would affect someone, especially given what Schaefer was doing when he actually got abducted.
I'm not sure we're even having this conversation. I don't know if these mashed potatoes are really here. I don't know if you even exist.
One thing that did annoy me in this episode is Scully's continued skepticism about Mulder's belief at this point in the series. Scully's arc is often slow to develop during the earlier seasons, especially considering her own alien abduction in Season 2. Maybe this could be explained by the Men in Black and hypnosis on this occasion. I think Mulder's ability to resist said hypnosis really speaks to his resilience as a character too. In general though, I think this is a pretty solid episode, and its ability to blend parody, satire, and mystery to explore the ambiguity around alien abduction stories and conspiracy theories really holds up. The story structure itself becomes a commentary on the search for truth, highlighting how subjective and contradictory eyewitness accounts can be, which I think is really valuable in this kind of grounded in realism style sci-fi show. Well, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.
The blue and green ones are my favorite kind, but I'll eat the colored ones from time to time. Cause Polos is life, 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 Polos is life. Sleep all night and then Polos is life.